My name is Dana Smith. I'm an editorial magazine photographer. I've been photographing for 25 years and I've been teaching at the New England School of Photography for 15. If I had to describe the New England School of Photography in one word, I'd say focused.
Hi, I'm Sue Ann Hodges. I'm a professional photographer and I'm also the head of the digital imaging department at New England School of Photography. I teach Photoshop and Lightroom classes, and I've been teaching photography for 25 years. I was working in the advertising field. I was hiring a lot of people from NESOP at the time, and it seemed like the perfect thing. I had graduated from here, and coming back to a place I loved was a perfect way to start teaching.
I'm Michael Hintlian, and I am a documentary photographer, and I've been doing this for close to 40 years. At NESOP, I teach documentary photography, and I've always had teaching as part of my mix of things that I do. I teach, and I do my own work, and I work for hire. That's been the landscape for me. That's been my working MO.
I think the thing that's different about NESOP is that it's taught by working professionals. I mean, there's a lot of great picture makers out there, but a lot of those great picture makers don't know how to get work. That's, I think, the most difficult, challenging thing about the business of photography. You have to know where to look for work, how to get it, and how to keep it. And I think New England School of Photography and the people who are teaching here know that. That's what I pass on to my students. We talk, of course, a lot about pictures and picture making, but we spend just as much time talking about how you're going to get those pictures that you make in front of the people who are going to be doing the hiring and giving you the jobs.
In addition to having both fine art and commercial within our program, I think one of the other things that really makes us different is that it's a 2-year program with a great foundation where everybody learns the same thing during the first year and comes out with a really broad knowledge. But in the second year, they get to specialize. And photography is such a big field that I think people really enjoy exploring and developing their own style and their own vision over the 2-year period. And at the end, we finish with a portfolio, so everybody leaves here being ready to go out into the professional world. And I think it takes that 2 years of exploring and creativity to really get to that point.
If I had to describe the class dynamic at NESOP, I would say supportive. And in my class, brutal honesty is required.
The NESOP program is different from literally every other place I've taught at. And the reason it's different is the amount of training that a photographer gets in their first year is without peer. It's completely thorough. It's amazing. It's amazing. I work with students in their second year, and I never work with students that are better prepared than students coming into their second year at NESOP.
I think what's most interesting about the NESOP student, geographical diversity. There's people from all over the world, and I think that's always adds a lot to a school. Also the academic diversity. I remember when I first started teaching, and we would do portfolio reviews, and realized that the people whose work I was looking at had degrees in microbiology or sociology or law enforcement. And I would ask people, well, why did you leave microbiology to to come here? And they said, well, because I never wanted to be a microbiologist, but I've always wanted to be a photographer.
So, I think some of what I love about NESOP as a faculty member is the same thing I loved about it when I was a student here. I think it is so great for the students to be together and see work produced by each other. It gives a creative energy to the whole place and to the environment, and people learn from each other as well as just from the faculty. It's a really exciting place to be, and that's an important part of what NESOP is.
What do I think is the most important quality a student should have? A rock-solid work ethic, period.
The quality of the student, like any school, it varies quite a bit, but the ideal student is the one that's committed, the one that's hungry for what photography can be. and they see it as not just a career, but as a lifestyle and as really a way of life. And so I completely respect and love working with students that have that hunger, have that thirst.
Do I find inspiration in my students? The answer is always. That's why I became a teacher. Young minds fill the room with fresh ideas and boundless energy. When you've been doing this for a while, that can be hard to find on the outside, but easy to find here.
So in this day and age where everybody thinks they're a photographer and uses some great equipment too, I think that you really have to be able to set yourself apart if you're going to be a working professional. And I think that that's a big part of what we offer here. You have to have the skills, you have to develop your vision, and that's also part of it, and learning the business end. And we cover all three of those components here, and I think it really sets apart the students that come here. And they have to be dedicated. If you're going to work in the field, it is something you want to have a passion for, and you want to be dedicated to. And if you have that, then you're going to have a job that you'll enjoy for the rest of your life.
If I were to give advice about a student considering a career in photography, I'd say be prepared. It's a long, hard, sometimes painful journey, but and the payoff is anything but instant. It's a long haul, but I consider that a good thing.